complex.
I hope you had a good night's sleep, everyone. Yes, we had a good night's sleep. Guys, it's not a very easy task that you have. Nikolai, it is your first flight that I know, I'm sure that you will do everything fine, and everything will be as it should be. And please send our warmest regards to the crew that is on the station together with our American colleagues.
We're all very proud of you. We know you've worked hard to get to this point. We look forward to seeing how you work on orbit. I wish the capsule was big enough for all of us to go with you. But it's a little small for that, but our hearts will be with you. We'll be watching, and we'll be here when you get back.
Thank you so much. I wish you good flight and good luck, of course. Have a good flight, docking, and also nominal work on the station, and of course, good luck. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
And a final opportunity for the crew to say goodbye to their loved ones before heading out of the integration building toward the launch pad. The crew members now seen leaving the Site 254 integration building. This enabled Kononenko, the Soyuz commander, to report that he and his crewmates were ready to proceed to the launch pad.
Chairman of the State Committee, the Soyuz crew is ready for the mission. Goodbye, everyone.
The crew boarded the bus at the 254 integration building at about 7 a.m. Central Time to begin what amounted to about a 1-hour trip out to launch site 31 and their rocket. And there you see the buses arriving at the pad. The crew, Kononenko, Chub, and O'Hara, you'll see in a moment, climbing a few stairs to wave goodbye to well-wishers, and then entering the elevator for the ride to the top of the Soyuz rocket to board their spacecraft, which they've now been aboard for the past several hours. accompanied by their respective senior managers, Kononenko, along with Yuri Borisov, the head of Roscosmos, Chub, and there you see Ken Bowersox of NASA and Joel Montalbano, the ISS program manager. Bowersox, the associate administrator for human spaceflight for NASA, accompanying Loral O'Hara to the stairs. And you see the venting of liquid oxygen from the Soyuz 2.1A booster. The crew now has been aboard the spacecraft for the past several hours. The countdown now inside the T-minus 20-minute mark. We're back now with a live view of the Soyuz MS-24 on the pad at Baikonur. Liftoff is scheduled for 10:44 and 35 seconds a.m. Central Time, 8:44 p.m. in Baikonur. Strapped into their seats in the descent module of the Soyuz, as we have mentioned frequently during our broadcast, are NASA's Loral O'Hara, along with Oleg Kononenko and Nikolai Chub of Roscosmos. And as mentioned earlier, Kononenko, as Soyuz commander, is in the center seat of the MS-24. Chub is to his left. O'Hara is seated to his right. At the time of launch, the International Space Station will be flying over southwestern Kazakhstan at an altitude of about 262 statute miles. The station will actually pass over the Cosmodrome 23 seconds after Soyuz lifts off and will leapfrog past the Soyuz as Kononenko, Chub, and O'Hara climb to their preliminary orbit. 8 minutes and 45 seconds after launch, the third stage engine of the Soyuz booster will shut down, and the Soyuz will separate from its launch vehicle in its preliminary orbit, deploying its solar arrays and navigational antennas. At that point, the three crew members will trail the space station by 1,145 miles. The chase will be on, resulting in docking of the MS-24 spacecraft to the Roscosmos module of the International Space Station at 1:56 p.m. Central Time today.
Here I go, let's start again. Here I go, turn the page. So you walk into this restaurant, all strung out on the road, and the beauty eyes upon you.
As you can see, the gantry arms around the Soyuz spacecraft and the booster have spread. The vehicle is now on autonomous power. At the launch site in the Central Asian desert, NASA officials are on hand to watch the beginning of the journey for Loral O'Hara, Oleg Kononenko, and Nikolai Chub. Leading the NASA delegation today is NASA's Associate Administrator for Human Spaceflight, Ken Bowersox, ISS Program Manager Joel Montalbano, Johnson Space Center Deputy Director Steve Kerner, Norm Knight, Johnson's Director of Flight Operations, and the Chief Astronaut for NASA, Joe Acaba. And with them is NASA Public Affairs Officer Leah Cheshire, who filed this report a short time ago.
Hi, Rob. We're here at the launch viewing site at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in the Kazakh desert. We are surrounded by miles of sandy soil and brush, with our focus on Soyuz MS-24 perched on pad 31, just about 2 miles away from us. Now, this evening, we're in the low 60-degree Fahrenheit range. That continues to drop, but we're looking up to clear skies for our crew tonight. Now, in contrast, the NASA delegation on the Roscosmos charter received a very windy welcome when we arrived in Baikonur on Monday, and we saw a very chilly but by-the-book rocket rollout on Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. local time. And since we've been here, we've also seen many of the residents who call this desert home, including camels, cows, and horses. The crew's rigorous training has led to this moment, and they are ready inside the capsule, with this being the first space flight for Loral O'Hara and Nikolai Chub, and the fifth for Oleg Kononenko. O'Hara's family is here cheering for her maiden voyage, and of course, so are we. Now we're looking forward to liftoff and seeing Soyuz rise on the skyline and light up the night. And with that, I'll send it back to you, Rob.
Thank you, Leah. The countdown is approaching the T-minus 15-minute mark. Everything is in great shape. The vehicle fully fueled. It is on autonomous power at this hour. You're going to be hearing a number of rapid-fire activities over the course of the next few minutes. The 1 minute to command key to start is scheduled at the T-minus 8-minute mark. Preparations will be transitioning to an automated mode, which is equivalent to a ground launch sequencer at the T-minus 7-minute mark. Again, you're hearing music piped up to the crew aboard the Soyuz spacecraft.
And ascent on the right. The formats have been selected. Copy.
It's a little bit difficult to perceive, but buttressed up against the side of the Soyuz 2.1A rocket are two umbilical towers that have provided all of the consumables for the spacecraft throughout the course of the countdown preparations. The first of those two umbilicals will retract at about the T-minus 31-second mark. The second of the two umbilicals, you'll see when we get there, will retract at about the T-minus 12-second mark or so. That will initiate the engine sequence start. The engines will come up to full thrust, and then there'll be full ignition of the spacecraft's first stage engines, and the hold down posts will be retracted, and the Soyuz rocket will be on its way. Again, it's about an 8-minute 45-second ride to orbit for third stage shutdown and spacecraft separation. The solar arrays and navigational antennas will deploy. The Soyuz will be about 1,145 miles behind the International Space Station and will begin the automated rendezvous sequence just a few minutes after reaching its preliminary orbit, with a delta velocity burn just 39 minutes after launch. That will raise the orbit of the Soyuz and fine-tune its path to the station, initiating those automated rendezvous operations. Because this is a fast-track two-orbit rendezvous for the Soyuz, there won't be as many rendezvous burns required, because the Soyuz will be moving into the exact plane of the station's orbit, the corridor. You can liken it to a car moving on from an exit ramp to a freeway and getting into the right lane to provide the shortest distance between itself and its destination. Again, the launch is precisely timed for the moment when the Earth's rotation will place the Baikonur Cosmodrome in the plane of the orbit of the International Space Station. On board the station itself, the Expedition 69 crew, led by Commander Sergei Prokopyev, The multinational crew that's on board the station will be eagerly awaiting the arrival of their new crewmates later today, with docking scheduled at 1:56 p.m. Central Time. Assuming everything goes as planned, the hatches are scheduled to be opened around 4:30 p.m. Central Time this afternoon to allow O'Hara, Kononenko, and Chub to enter their home, which for Kononenko and Chub will be about a year's worth of stay on board the station. Loral O'Hara will be spending 6 months on the international outpost. Here in Mission Control in Houston, Flight Director Chris Dobbins polled his team of flight controllers a short time ago. Everything is in readiness for the launch of Soyuz. From a station perspective, you can see Dobbins is in the middle of this trio of flight controllers that you see. To his left is Flight Director Ronak Dave, and to Dobbins' right is veteran astronaut Jessica Meir.
Antares, this is 5-3. Launch minus 5 minutes. Close helmet visors. Copy, closing helmet visors.
The interpreter talking to Soyuz Commander Oleg Kononenko in the descent module of the Soyuz MS-24 spacecraft, as we are now inside 10 minutes until launch.
Inaudible. Copy, KSS is ready. We see Antares 3 on camera 2. Copy.
This is traditional for the technicians at the blockhouse in Baikonur to uplink music of their choice to the crew members in the final hour before a countdown. It's basically a method of relaxing the crew members and making them feel at home before they begin their journey into space. For a quick look at the milestones en route to orbit, first stage separation is expected at the 1 minute 58 second mark into the flight, followed at 2 minutes and 34 seconds by the jettisoning of the launch shroud that envelops the Soyuz capsule itself. Second stage shutdown is scheduled at 4 minutes 37 seconds after launch, followed 11 seconds later by second stage separation. The third stage lower skirt jettisoning is at the 4 minute 56 second mark, and third stage shutdown is at 8 minutes 46 seconds. That is the new computation for that, followed just 3 seconds later by third stage separation. Seconds after that, the solar arrays and navigational antennas will begin to be deployed, and the Soyuz spacecraft will begin in earnest its chase to catch up to the International Space Station. T-minus 7 minutes 40 seconds until launch. We're about to have an engineer at the blockhouse in Baikonur turn a key that transitions the countdown to an automatic mode, basically a ground launch sequencer for the remainder of the countdown.
1 minute, command algorithms are on board. We'll be broadcasting all the launch sequences to the MCC. Copy. Vehicle is nominal. We are ready to proceed. Copy. Antares, we are seeing you on camera 1. Copy.
Oleg Kononenko, the Soyuz commander, reporting that the vehicle is ready for launch, the crew ready for launch, as we are at the T-minus 6 hour, 35 minute 6-minute 35-second mark in the countdown. Again, at the time of launch, the International Space Station will be over southwestern Kazakhstan at an altitude of 262 statute miles and will pass directly over the Cosmodrome and the launch site 23 seconds after liftoff. Now a view of the crew inside the MS-24. At the top of your screen, Nikolai Chub, board engineer number 1. There's Oleg Kononenko at the bottom of your screen, about to embark on the 5th flight of his career. The countdown has gone by the book. The vehicle was fueled several hours ago. The crew boarded the vehicle at the T-minus 2 hour 45-minute mark and now is poised to lift off just 5 minutes from now.
Ground telemetry active.
Strip chart recorders and ground telemetry now activated.
Nitrogen purge.
The fuel lines and other elements of the rocket engines now being purged with nitrogen to fireproof them by removing vapors of fuel and oxidizer. Inside 4 minutes until liftoff. We're about a minute or so away from the pressurization of the fuel and oxidizer tanks to optimize fuel flow and provide additional structural rigidity to the launch vehicle out on Pad 6, Site 31 at the Baikonur Cosmodrome. We have now hit the T-minus 3.5 minute mark until launch. T-minus 3 minutes and counting. All systems are go. The range is clear at Baikonur. The key to drainage has been conducted. This key to drainage enables the valves through which evaporated oxygen escapes from the fuel tanks into the atmosphere are closed, beginning basically a drain back of fuel back into the tanks, and the valves providing liquid oxygen to replenish any lost by a boil off in the final minutes of the countdown.
Tank repress in progress.
Tank pressurization underway.
Есть надув общий, 30-й. Есть надув общий, 70-й. Есть сброс шавов системы измерений, 70-й. Доклады руководителя...
T-minus 2 minutes and counting. The ground propellant feed now has been terminated to the vehicle, the Soyuz on internal power. Coming up on T-minus 1 minute. The first umbilical tower again will retract at the T-minus 35-second mark.
1 minute. Vehicle on internal power. Copy.
There goes the first umbilical retraction. The second umbilical will retract in just a few seconds to initiate engine start sequence. T-minus 20 seconds. We have engine sequence start. We have engine ignition.
Second tower separation.
3, 2, 1.
Pumps at flight speed.
And liftoff. O'Hara, Kononenko, and Chub begin a short-duration journey for a long-duration mission on the International Space Station. All vehicle parameters are normal. 23 seconds into the flight. Good roll, pitch, and yaw program. Engine performance on the first stage nominal.
L plus 30 seconds. Flight is nominal.
40 seconds into the flight.
Well,
Structural parameters are normal. Engine parameters reported from the blockhouse in Baikonur all to be within limits and normal.
Давление в камерах двигателей в норме.
L, 1 minute 5 seconds into the flight.
Roll pitch yaw nominal.
All the vehicle parameters are normal. Good reports coming in from the blockhouse in Baikonur. The vehicle arcing out to the northeast from the Baikonur Cosmodrome.
80. Параметры системы управления ракеты-носителя в норме.
90 seconds into the flight.
90. Двигатели первой и второй ступени работают нормально.
L plus 90 seconds.
Good engine performance being reported.
184608. C off nominal pressure in casual 1500. Copy.
Coming up on first stage shutdown. And we have first stage separation.
Shows jettison confirmed.
Launch tower jettison reported. Everything in good shape.
First stage separation
2 minutes,
confirmed.
12 seconds into the flight.
Casual is back to nominal 980. Copy.
The vehicle now operating on its second stage engines. All parameters are normal. Good structural performance by the vehicle. Launch shroud jettison now reported. In this view now from a camera on the upper stage of the Soyuz 2.1A booster.
We confirm jettison of the nose steering.
2 minutes 50 seconds into the flight. A little over 6 minutes of powered flight remaining.
Launch vehicle is nominal. Copy. Soyuz is nominal. Crew is feeling well.
Kononenko reports the crew is feeling well. 3 minutes 15 seconds into the flight. Perfect engine performance reported. Good structural parameters on the vehicle.
L plus 200 seconds, second stage engine operating nominally.
Second stage engine is functioning by the book. The Soyuz heading for its precise keyhole in space. Flight is normal. Now 4 minutes into the flight, everything going perfectly. O'Hara, Kononenko, and Chub heading for their preliminary orbit and the chase to track down and dock to the International Space Station.
L plus 250 seconds.
4 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight.
Nominal.
Roll pitch, all normal. Engine performance is normal as well.
L plus 270 seconds. Standing by for GK to command. Copy.
Coming up on second stage shutdown. And we have second stage shutdown.
Second stage separation confirmed. Copy.
Second stage separation confirmed. That's the skirt for the third stage you saw being jettisoned. 5 minutes, 15 seconds into the flight. About 3.5 minutes of powered flight remaining. The Soyuz now being propelled on the power of its third stage engine.
Launch vehicle is nominal. Copy. Soyuz is nominal. Crew is feeling well. Copy.
Kononenko continuing to report that the crew is feeling well. Everything normal on board. 5 minutes, 45 seconds into the flight. Good third stage performance.
L plus 350 seconds. Flight is nominal. Copy.
We've just passed the 6-minute mark into the flight. Good reports continuing to come in. Control of the Soyuz spacecraft after it separates from the third stage will transfer to the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow. 6 minutes, 25 seconds into the flight.
Stage 3 engine operating nominally. Copy.
Six minutes, 45 seconds into the flight, 2 minutes of powered flight remaining.
Stabilization is steady. Copy.
Good, stable structural performance by the vehicle.
L plus 430 seconds. Stage 3 engine operating nominally.
7 minutes,
Copy.
20 seconds into the flight. Nothing but good reports coming in. We're about 1.5 minutes away from third stage shutdown and spacecraft separation.
L plus 460 seconds. Launch vehicle structural parameters are nominal.
7 minutes,
Copy.
55 seconds into the flight. Everything is going perfectly so far. Less than a minute to go before third stage shutdown and spacecraft separation.
L plus 490 seconds. Stabilization is steady.
8 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight, about 30 seconds of powered flight remaining.
L plus 500 seconds. Light is nominal.
Right after third stage shutdown and spacecraft separation, we'll be standing by for the deployment of the solar arrays and navigational antennas on the Soyuz.
L plus 520 seconds.
Standing by now for third stage shutdown.
Standing by for GK 3. 530
And we
seconds.
have third stage shutdown and third stage
Third
separation.
Stage engine cutoff confirmed. Separation confirmed. Antares, we're handing you over to MCC Moscow.
And the program has been activated, and the solar arrays and navigational antennas are now confirmed to have been deployed. Perfect ride to orbit for Loral O'Hara, Oleg Kononenko, and Nikolai Chub.
Antares, Moscow.
The Soyuz being inserted into a perfect preliminary orbit as it begins its chase to catch up to and dock to the International Space Station later this afternoon. At the time of third stage shutdown, the Soyuz trailed the station by about 1,145 statute miles.
Ascent, execute per stage 35. Copy. RTU closed, SP1 and 2 are open, checking ST. Copy. Start AKG compartment check algorithm. Copy. Ready to start. Compartment check algorithm started. Copy. Copy per page 36.
Aboard the Soyuz MS-24, which carries the call sign of Antares, Oleg Kononenko, Nikolai Chub, and Loral O'Hara are beginning systems checks as they prepare for the first of their rendezvous burns, the DV-1 or Delta Velocity 1 burn that is scheduled
Moscow.
about 28 minutes from now.
Measurement 1 at 1855. Pressure in SA 806. Pressure in orbital module 721. Instrumentation compartment 885. Copy. Next measurement in 5 minutes. Copy. OSK started course 2.
This view now from the control panel inside the Soyuz MS-24. Oleg Kononenko reporting that the crew is feeling great following its on-time launch and its uneventful ascent into its preliminary orbit.
Long test started. Copy. Moscow, I am ready to report per page 37 for screen 03, parameters to port 17, 17.1, 18, 16.8, 19, 267, 20, 1.4, 21, 1.4, 22, 331, 23, 336, 24, 17.8, 25, 17.5, 26, 271. Propellant.
The crew on board the Soyuz spacecraft providing systems parameters and systems information to the Russian flight controllers that you see there in this balcony view from a camera inside the Russian Mission Control Center in the town of Korolyov outside of Moscow. Over the course of the next hour or so, the crew will be testing its core's automated rendezvous system. That's the system that will
guys,
automatically guide the Soyuz through all of the docking parameters and providing
and
the range
entire
between
crew,
itself
congratulations
and the International Space Station and the rate of
launch.
closure.
Everything is going well. All systems have deployed per the book. No reports on any deviations, so things are going well, and I wish you all the best. Thank you, Vladimir Alexeyevich.
Once again, the Soyuz lifted off on time after a flawless countdown at 10:44 and 35 seconds a.m. Central Time, 11:44 a.m. Eastern Time, 8:44 p.m. at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. All of the ascent events ticked off in perfect shape through the activation of all of the engines. All three stages of the Soyuz performed as advertised, depositing the Soyuz into a perfect preliminary orbit, from which now they will begin the short two-orbit, 3-hour rendezvous to reach the International Space Station and a docking with the Roscosmos module of the complex at 1:56 p.m. Central Time this afternoon.
There's no com. NCC Moscow ISS on Antares 2. Go ahead. Pressure in the S805 Delta -1 BO. Pressure 821 Delta is -1. Pressure in the assembly compartment 104 Delta -1. We are on stage 4. I cannot currently monitor the attitude. Copy. Antares. We have some information for you. The propellant parameter is not, it says 216 and it's not accurate. We have 816. We confirm it is not quite accurate. Okay, copy.
This is Mission Control Houston. As the Soyuz MS-24 crew, led by Soyuz Commander Oleg Kononenko, who now is in his 5th flight into space, along with his first-time flyer crewmates Nikolai Chub of Roscosmos and NASA's Loral O'Hara, as they continue to check out spacecraft systems in the early minutes of their ride into space, having launched just about 17 minutes ago from the Baikonur Cosmodrome. The Soyuz spacecraft is in excellent shape, all of its solar arrays and navigational antennas having been deployed as planned right after third stage shutdown and spacecraft separation. So with that, the beginning of automated rendezvous operations will begin in about 30 minutes or so, a series of rendezvous burns that will carry the Soyuz over the next 2 orbits into the neighborhood of the International Space Station, where it will close the gap slowly but surely, do a fly around of the station to align itself to the Roscosmos module of the International Space Station, and a docking at 1:56 p.m. Central Time this afternoon. For that, we will be back on the air at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, with rendezvous and docking coverage as the next trio of residents for the International Space Station begins its trek to the complex and arrival at the International Space Station later today. So we'll be back with you in just a few hours for rendezvous and docking. In the meantime, we'll wrap it up for now. This is Mission Control Houston.